Your destination is on the left.
What's up, man? I was just testing out what it would be like to have beef stroganoff for breakfast. I'm not sure if it was the right move yet or not, but we're gonna find out. We'll find out in an hour and a half.
Hey, we got recently.
Right on, man. How are you?
I'm good.
Fantastic. That's gonna melt.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, how's it going, Corin?
Maddie.
Lovely to meet you, Maddie. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, come on over. Enjoy yourself.
Here's Corin.
We're recording. All right. What's happening?
Not much.
Now, before I get into this one, we're related, which is really awesome. I love being able to catch up with some family members and stuff. And just to start, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Carlton Adams, one of his cousins on my mom's side. We know Aunt Janice, she called me the other day, like I think Wednesday, to tell me that
My
she
mom
was,
did, yeah.
Yeah, late, telling me that you were gonna be here.
Oh,
So that was an interesting phone call. Especially since it just came from California. I don't have her number in my phone.
oh, right.
I was like, there's like 3 people that this could be.
Yeah, she still has her California number, even though she's in North Carolina now. But she just won't give up the Cal. She's like, she's hanging on to California with her last breath. It's hilarious.
It is great.
Well, let's start by finding out where you were born.
I was born in Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee. Then moved to Little Rock when I was 2. Stayed there till I was 11, 12. We moved to Virginia for a year and a half.
Okay.
Then came back, finished out high school in Little Rock. Now I'm down in Ruston at Louisiana Tech for college.
Did you go to the same high school your mom went to in Little Rock?
No, she went to our sister's school.
Oh, okay.
She went to an all-girls school, Mount St. Mary's.
Oh, okay.
I went to the all-boys at Catholic High.
Oh, okay, yeah, Catholic High, exactly.
So, I mean, basically the same school. They were over at ours all the time. We were over to theirs.
Right.
But
How was it going to school at Catholic High?
oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
The teachers were awesome. We had a lot of fun there. A lot of jokes. Like, the teachers were really chill since it was all guys.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of drama going on because there was no girls to fight over.
Right.
So there wasn't a whole lot happening at school. It was just a fun environment.
Yeah, how was the, because I went to public school, and the education that we receive in public school is a little shoddy.
Can be.
It's a little shoddy. How was it, how did you find going through a private school, especially a Catholic school education, which is going to be, I would imagine, rather strict on the,
Actually, no. Ours is a very progressive Catholic school. We learned about world religions during our religion class period,
Mm-hmm.
beginning of every day. They taught sex ed. They taught about contraceptives as well. And then it was very open to new things. And since it was a private school, it wasn't just you pay, you're in.
Yeah.
You had to take a test to get in. It was a merit-based school.
Oh, okay.
And they gave out scholarship to people who scored certain levels on the test that couldn't afford to pay. So, I mean, it was 50-50 people that were from the Catholic community that could pay to go to school, and 50% of the people that were smart enough to make it through the program there.
Right. That's a really great way of doing it. It seems like it would balance the scales in the classroom in terms of giving you a nice group of different class oriented students.
And it was very open to how people were. Like in the Catholic Church, if they're super hardcore Catholic, being gay is bad and stuff. Our guidance counselor told us that if you were gay, you come talk to him, and we can help you find your way. And that wasn't like going straight or anything like that.
Right.
That was you being comfortable with yourself, because we were very open to that at our school. I had two of my best friends are actually gay from that school, and they were very open to it. It was surprising for a Catholic school to be like that.
I think it is very progressive, and I think it's the right direction. I mean, just from my own personal opinion on it, because
if two consenting adults are two consenting adults, then who is anybody to judge what their thing is, no matter what it is? You know,
our priest was fine with it. He didn't care as long as you were a good person.
Yeah, exactly. That's what counts most in life is having a a quality of character that is that's strong enough that you're not affected by those type of little things in life, and you can see the traits of another person's being as senior to what are those kind of life choices about. I mean, to get caught up on those kind of life choices to me is a little silly. There's bigger fish to fry.
Oh, for sure.
When you got out of that school with the education, did you go straight into college?
Yes, I did.
Okay, where'd you go into college at?
Louisiana Tech University.
That's a good school. It's a good school.
For engineering, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, quit that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
It was too much?
I did not like the engineering. It sucked.
What?
It was very paperwork and like math and everything where I wanted to build. I want to do engineering where I built stuff, and that's just not how it is. Like they're teaching you at that engineering program to be like the designer.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to build it, so I got out of that program.
Oh, gotcha.
Finance gang. The business school all the way.
Yes, I mean that's I guess going to business getting a business degree is smart because the application of it is pretty broad.
You can take it anywhere.
Yeah. But going back to your youth more, it seems like you jumped around a little bit in some of your kind of prime growing years. You bounced around a little bit between the ages of what I always talk about maybe 7 to 8 years old because that's when we really start developing. I can list off all the
schools I went to.
Oh, really?
I moved around a lot.
Yeah.
I started in Jackson, Tennessee at a little place called Little Lambs and Ivy as like a daycare preschool type thing. Then I went to Miss Selma's, which was a private school for like preschool to kindergarten. That's when I was there. Then I moved to the Cathedral School, which was an Episcopalian school.
Yeah.
For first and second grade. Then I went to Fulbright Elementary School, which was a public school, for third through half of fifth. Then I went to Virginia for the rest of fifth grade and sixth grade. Then I came back and went to Christ the King for seventh and eighth grade. And then I went to Catholic High for all of high school.
So at least from 7th through graduation, you were in one place.
I guess so. Yeah, it was the
right?
same system. Christ the King and a couple other schools were feeder schools into Catholic and Mount.
Yeah.
So I was with the same people. That's for sure.
What was it? I mean, do you recall in your younger years what it was like moving around like that? Did that cause any issues for you with school or social scenes or friendships? Or
it sucked moving, like having to change friends, every year and a half. But I got pretty good at making friends. Yeah. So it wasn't like more than like a week, 2 weeks before I at least found at least one person to hang out with at school. But I mean, I've got my dad's genes. I'm pretty overly social. Right. At times, I can talk to pretty much anyone, so it's not a big deal for me. I know some of my other friends that moved around the same amount had some serious problems. They're not great at making some friends. Right. Just because they're not ready to like give them up at a moment's notice. But with how much I moved, I kind of got used to it.
Well, what do you think it was about yourself that made you more comfortable doing those kind of changes that often before you got into junior high? Like, what do you think it was about you that...
my parents, for sure.
Yeah?
They're so supporting. Like, any ideas I've had, they've been with, and it just kind of gives you the confidence to go for it. Yeah. And so there was nothing holding me back from doing anything.
Well, as a kid, when you were coming back into Arkansas, I mean, did you have like a driving force in your life? Like for me as a young kid, it was like I loved to draw. That was my big thing. I was always trying to draw or do something. And obviously, I got into acting at 12 years old. But that's a phenomenon. That's not a normal everyday thing. But was there something particular that was motivating you in life as you were growing up as a kid?
Since we moved around a lot and I didn't have all friends forever, I got really really good at first-person shooting video games,
Okay.
and so that was an easy way to connect. But like, I think like the 7th and 8th grade years, I got to the point where I was competing with professionals
No
in
kidding.
like online tournaments,
Really?
like small little things.
Yeah.
Because I know like in Call of Duty, I played FaZe Clan and Optic at one point,
Yeah.
and then I moved into Battlefield from Call of Duty, and I was on the pro servers for that for almost my entirety of Battlefield.
Really?
So I just enjoyed playing first person shooters
Yeah.
all the time.
What was your moniker for gaming? Your gaming name?
It's been the same ever since I made it back when I was like 11. It's been Ninja Person 99.
Okay, cool. So
and just never changed it and stuck with me.
maybe one of y'all out there have actually played against him or played with him or seen him out there on the battlefield, so to speak.
Yeah.
So the gaming thing, my son's big into that, and it is a phenomenon that I'm not familiar with as much as your generation. Do you think that was efficiently social in a way when you were online with people with the chats and the?
I think
and
it
all
was
that, or-
because you don't. I mean, there's fake people on the internet who are
Sure.
trying to get you and stuff. There's bad people out there, but when you're playing just for fun, you actually meet them
Yeah.
and you have a good time with them and you meet who they are as a person, because they don't see you, they don't know what you look like, they can just hear your voice.
Right.
So there's nothing to hide. So you actually get to talk to those people, and you like learn how to talk to brand new people who are sometimes different or a little weirder,
Sure.
do different things, and so you get used to talking about all the different stuff that comes up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's the most random things you talk about playing video games.
Yeah, I know.
You have no idea what's about to come up, and
Yeah.
so you got to be ready.
Yeah, I hear my son in there when he's doing his gaming. I hear him they're just talking about all kinds. It's pretty, I mean, it spans the spectrum. Sometimes it's about aliens or this or that, and another time they're talking about girls or something else or whatever. It just spans the spectrum. But that said, I am curious. Do you think was there a time period ever when the gaming became an impediment to doing other things, or were you able to balance that out?
I was able to balance it. I mean, it's been a big part of my life, but it's never been more important than going out with friends.
Yeah.
I've been able to put the game down on a moment's notice.
That's good.
There hasn't been a time really where it's like, oh, I've got to sit here and play 5 more games. I cannot get up until I play 5 more games. I have to. No. I've been able to put it down. Like, sometimes things come up in the middle of a game, and I want to finish it.
Of course.
But pretty much after that, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
that really holds me back.
That's great. So you found a kind of a balance for yourself in that area, which is important. So when you were in high school, obviously, I mean, there's professional gamers out there who make big bucks. Was there a time at all when you were getting out of high school thinking maybe I could do this for a living, or because they have tournaments, they travel, they it's wild. They got fans.
I thought about it at one point for Battlefield and Call of Duty. And then I looked into the Battlefield scene because that was my favorite game at the time. And they make abysmal salaries for being
really?
the best on the planet
Wow.
at certain things, which is unfortunate because like it actually takes talent to be like that good at video games.
Yeah.
And but it's just not a big enough scene to really make it in. And then I got into the game League of Legends, and I'm just garbage at that game. So there's nothing going anywhere with that. It's just fun for me. I did think at one point maybe I could stream.
Right.
It just didn't work out. Streaming equipment's expensive.
Yeah,
Like
I bet.
expensive. And I got a computer that runs the games, but I don't have a computer that runs the games and streams and records and does all that at the
It's
same
a lot
time.
of what that's a lot of RAM. That's a lot of
It's a lot of everything.
a lot of everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we're having issues just on this shoot alone trying to keep up technologically because we just don't have the budget to get the stuff that we need to really smooth things out. So that I
Right.
can relate to 100%.
Yeah, microphones are expensive if you want to sound good.
Yes, we got this one sent by a blogger. Podcasting company that sent us this which is one of the best recorders you can get out there. This is a recorder.
It looks very nice.
It is nice. It sounds amazing too. So we have had that benefit. So now, how many years did you do in college?
I am in my senior year.
Senior year.
Of finance. I should be ready to graduate by the end of spring, and Maddie's not happy about that.
Oh no,
In the slightest,
Maddie.
she's a year behind me. She's a year younger. But that's not always.
That's like
how
graduating in
everything
high school, leaving your high school sweetheart behind in 11th grade. You're like, oh, bye, I'll see you in college.
goes. But she's happy because I am planning to get my master's.
Okay.
I need to be competitive in the business world, and my GPA is not the greatest because of the engineering year.
Yeah.
So I plan to get my master's take next year.
Well, what will the master's be in?
I'm not
Specifically?
certain yet.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to graduate with a bachelor's of science in finance.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if I want to go into banking, so I need to go towards investment,
Right.
a master's in investments or something like that, or if I want to go in money management and like a master's in some
Yeah.
field over there. So I'm not certain yet.
Well, how old are you now?
I'm
Specifically?
21, about to be
There you go.
22.
I mean, so you got to, here's a 21-year-old young man who, is actively pursuing a stable future for himself with his head on straight, and that to me is really one of the most important parts of what I've discovered in this conversation so far. And I'm curious about, what has it been inside of you? What kind of character trait do you think, or where you got it from, or whatever, that has made you a balanced, reasonable, person who who at least has some kind of fundamental clarity on the need to apply oneself to have a future, a good future, whether that's in school or starting your own business on the fly or whatever it is. But what is it about, what is it that has given you that character, do you think?
I think my grandfather, who, as a little kid, like his Christmas presents was like an orange. Their family had nothing. They were extremely poor. And then my grandfather worked hard, put himself through school, got an accounting degree, started one of the largest painting businesses in Shreveport a while ago. It's gotten smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But like he went from literal rags to riches, multi-million dollars, huge retirement, nice house, pool, used to have a motorhome, boat, houseboat. I mean, went from nothing to everything.
Right.
And like it just shows you like you can do it because he put himself through school, got accounting, business
Really?
degree. Like it's possible. It can be done. So you just got to work for it, and you'll get there. It might take a while, but you'll get there.
Well, you're only 21. I think you're doing
Got a
pretty
little-
good so
I got
far.
a little while to go before I'm there, but we're making it.
Yeah, that's incredible. So your grandfather, that would be your grandfather on.
My father's side.
Yes, right. Yes. Okay. And was he kind of a mentor to you in a sense, or just a positive figure?
Yeah, I'd say he's been there my entire life. He's always been around. They're 3 hours away from where we lived, and we were down there like every other weekend doing stuff, and he'd always come up with our grandmother, and they've just always been around.
Yeah.
Just mainly like a positive influence. And then I worked for him last summer.
Oh, what'd you do?
I painted for
Great.
him. I was a painter's assistant. I started at the bottom where he started his business,
Mm-hmm.
and learned where it was from there. Basically, you want to get an inside job, especially in this Louisiana heat.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
no doubt.
But like it shows you the work ethic needed to make it to that point.
Right.
Because that painting job was tough. It was tough.
Well, that and then going into this, because it's it's easy for young people, especially outside of high school, when they finally get all of this freedom and they go off to college and they got to, and some of them will tend to kind of stray off the track and kind of get into a party scene, or just lose
that.
themselves and all of that. Yeah. So were you in a fraternity? Or?
I am in a fraternity.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm in Delta Chi fraternity at Louisiana Tech.
Uh huh.
And I did have that party scene where I had a 1.73 GPA.
Right.
And I've been digging myself out of that hole ever since of the first quarter of freshman year.
Right.
I mean, it took one quarter
Really?
to ruin everything.
Wow.
And I'm only at a 2.8 right now. I'm not even above a 3.
Wow.
Because, like, once you mess it up, it's messed up. I don't even know if I'll have a 3 by the end of my senior year of finance.
Well, speaking of that GPA thing, I am curious. Do you think that that's a credible way of categorizing people? Because there's certainly people who have high GPAs who are useless in the real world, and people who have very low GPAs but can start a whole business and become a multimillionaire. Do you think that using that kind of grading score is fair?
I think it works in certain senses. Like in the business degree, it's not a really good tell because it's business and there's very easy ways to cheat your way through. And there are people that you'll find in the College of Business at Tech that have 4.0 GPAs but only party and cheat through class.
Right.
But then you'll find engineers who have a 2.0 GPA who only study. And the tech program for engineering is extremely rigorous and designed to kick you out by being too hard to make only the best engineers make it through.
Wow.
So like their graduating class goes from like starting with like 4,000 kids at freshman year down to like 150 because it's so very difficult to make it through.
Right.
So the GPA system for them makes sense because you get an engineer with a 2.0. They've done well. They've made it through. The system hurts them, but it hasn't destroyed them. They made it through their degree.
Yeah.
But then you'll find the ones with the 3.8, and you're like, oh my God, you are unreasonably smart to make that GPA in this degree program.
Right.
So I think it needs to be changed for certain things.
Yeah.
Because I got screwed from one quarter in a different major, and now I am potentially not going to make it into the master's program soon because of that GPA.
Yeah, I feel like when you switch majors, like, because I've heard this, from a couple of other people over the years. Not that I'm very, college educated oriented person myself, but I have heard that when you switch over, yeah, that will affect, and you're not even studying it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like when you switch degrees, anything from previous should just be shelved.
Oh, it'd be so nice. I would have been fine starting over 100%. If
Yeah.
I could have just ditched I'd have left the credits behind. Like I had 30-something credit hours. I'd have lost those. I'd have started over completely if I could have.
Yeah.
But I got stuck with them.
So what's going to happen if you don't get into the master's program? What's your plan?
Take an extra quarter of super duper easy classes, get 12 hours of a 4.0 to boost myself over that 3, and then apply again.
See, there you go. I mean, it's not there's no giving up here.
No,
I love it.
There's ways to get it done, which is why I'm taking summer classes for sure. Easy summer classes like general psychology. I plan to get an A in that. Give me a 4.0 of a 3-hour class. Just boost my GPA whenever possible, because my coming up quarter is going to be probably the hardest I have at Tech, with investments banking, financial banking, and what else was it? It's another big business class. It's a 300 level. The other ones were 400s. So like my senior level class is almost my capstone classes that are going to be like the end of my career, the hardest ones I've got. And my advisor, who teaches one of those classes, asked me, how do you feel about your brain hurting? And I was like, I mean, I guess that's okay. And he says, okay, only take 2 of these, because the third one, your brain will break. And I was like, all right, if my advisor tells me that, I'm going to listen.
Man, it's great to see that you are so grounded and have a grasp, and you've been through. You had your Animal House phase in that first quarter. What was the wake up call for you at that time?
I lost my scholarship.
Okay.
I got a 31 on the ACT. It gave me a great scholarship. I paid like $500 outside of the scholarship to go to school.
Right.
It was very cheap for me to go to college at that point. I lost it.
Right.
And then I was paying full price. And then thankfully Tech has a program where you can appeal for it. And evidently what I did is one of their main reasons for losing scholarships the first year. And so I appealed and I got it back. And then as I was trying to dig myself out, you have to have a certain GPA requirement while you're on probation for that appeal to be able to keep the scholarship, and that's quarterly at that point. So I had to get a 3.0 every single quarter until my cumulative GPA was a 3.0. And I was doing it, and then I lost it again because I got like 1C, and it dropped me down to like a 2.8. And then I appealed the last time, got it back, and then it happened again. And it was barely a C, it was like a 78.5.
Right.
And that put me at a 2.9 for the quarter, and I lost my scholarship for the third time. And I think it's been like a year now, a year with no scholarship.
Right.
And we're racking up that debt.
Oh, it's brutal.
But it's been way better because I've had 3 years of scholarship and
Which
about a
is,
year and a half of debt. So I am far ahead of what some people are going to be like graduating their school, especially since tech is cheap.
Well,
Tech is cheap.
And what I noticed too, just from what you've explained right now, this, the constantly appealing, the constantly fighting for your, jockeying for your position in the school and all of that, it seems, that first blow of losing your scholarship and, do you see many people just dropping out when things like that happen?
There are a couple people I know that have dropped out because of that. One of my best friends actually did. He got the loans to pay for school, but he couldn't get the loans to cover housing to stay at Tech. So he had to drop out. That was Ethan. That's why Ethan left.
Yeah.
And he's actually never gone back because it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of done that to himself. He's got a couple of drug problems, but that's
neither here nor there.
But I think he could do it if he put his mind to it because he's actually very smart.
Yeah.
But that's just where he is right now. But I know a couple other people, like one of my friends from Catholic that came with me to Tech. He lost his scholarship, and I've never heard from him since.
Right. Yeah, that's a rough one. I mean, I don't know because I don't know much about college and all of that. But it does seem that that the system is rigged to put you in debt by the time you're out, like grossly in debt.
It can be if you go to the wrong school. The issue is people choose schools that are too expensive for what they're going for.
Right.
Like I went to Tech, and it's about what, $3,500 a quarter. About a little more, $3,500 a quarter, and like that's a cheap school, but it's also a good school. Tech's a very good school, but then people go to Baylor for a business degree.
Right.
When they're going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Oof.
Or like Notre Dame, where it's even more,
You're
it's
kidding.
$120 per semester.
Do you think that the the education that you're getting at those schools values out at the debt that they're leaving the school with?
No, I'll probably be very competitive with the Baylor students in a business degree.
Yeah.
At Tech. Now their their oil field stuff, which is one of their things they're known for. If I went to the oil field program here, they'd beat me out.
Right.
Like if you go to Baylor or Notre Dame or the really expensive schools for a business degree, it seems to me kind of like a waste of money. Because you could go to like an in-state school. Like if I just went to Fayetteville, I'd have had a good scholarship, an easy scholarship. A 31's huge there.
Well, how much do you think in terms of the success of coming out with that? How much do you think that is more about the individual's outlook and their natural kind of intellectual acumen, versus what they're being taught how to do it?
I think it's 100% based off the person.
Yeah.
Because you can go pay for as much as you want, but if you're stupid, you're stupid.
Yeah, or unmotivated in that direction, or.
But you could pay as little and be a very hardworking individual, like a couple people I know at Tech, and come out on top.
Yeah.
Just because of your work ethic, and like you actually learn and you strive for it, and they come out on top. So you don't have to pay all the money, but if you do and you work hard at it, then it was worth it, because the degree does have a ring to it. A degree from Baylor.
Sure, of course it does.
It does sound nicer
in the business world, yeah.
Right, it just sounds nicer. But you got to work at the same rate. You can't slack off just because you're graduating from Baylor. Oh, I've got this degree; they'll hire me.
Right. Now, going back to the going into your future now, where you see yourself at this point, where would you like to be in 10 years? Like, where would you like to see yourself? What would be the ideal work environment, position, maybe the type of business it might be?
I feel like I want to go into banking
Mm-hmm.
or investments, and I would like to move back up to Little Rock, which I plan to do. I think Maddie plans to as well, because she's been to Little Rock a couple of times and she loves it.
Nice.
And I like it too. It's a great town. I hope to work at Stevens, which is the second largest trading floor off of Wall Street. So like there's Wall Street's trading floor, and then there's Stevens.
Okay, I've never even heard of it.
It's the biggest building in Little Rock downtown. So if you ever go to Little Rock, just look at the largest building. That's Stevens.
Wow.
But they are a massive company, international, and I'd like to work for them. I don't imagine I'd be super high up in 10 years for Stevens because of how big it is in general. But it'd be really cool to get some sort of, like managing position of something.
Right.
Because I'm not certain what it is yet, but you gotta climb your way up the system however you must.
Now, would there be a possibility, going obviously, starting mailroom and working your way up or whatever it is?
Right, if I had to.
Yeah, but I mean, is there a possibility that once you get to that certain level with everything that you've learned, would there be a way of branching out on your own, starting your own business or
Probably.
something from that? Like, what would that be if you did?
I want probably an investment firm
Okay.
that helps people manage their money, because there's people that really need that help.
I
just
I
don't certainly.
it.
People just haven't. Like, I'm going to school for it. Like, I'm learning really how to do it. I mean, people can learn on their own for sure over the internet. There's plenty of resources on the internet.
Yeah.
But I'll have the degree and sort of the help that I'll need, because with the degree and starting a business, I could get some like funds, like startup fund from like the government, or
Right.
something that could help me along to help other people with their money management.
Yeah.
Because it's probably one of the biggest issues right now of people, getting the money and then not knowing exactly what to do with it, and spending it all, then not having any more and having to wait. But I'd like to be able to help people with that, that's for sure.
Well, they say that most people who win the lottery and accept all the money in a lump sum are usually back to being flat broke within 5 years. So,
But they don't know if you invest that at 5% every year for 20 years, you'll be about 7 times richer.
Exactly. That's, I was terrible about that in my 20s, but now getting on to a kind of a different note here. So you went, going to Catholic school and an Episcopalian school here. Is there a also a spiritual kind of spine that you have that keeps you grounded? Is there? No.
No, not in the slightest. I believe there's a higher power out there somewhere.
Right.
Churches always kind of get me,
Yeah.
because they're you have to believe it this way, and then there's certain groups that interpret, because I feel like the Bible itself has some good lessons in it.
Yeah.
Like there's
absolutely.
nothing that you can absolutely get good lessons from that, but there's people that take it so literally
Yeah.
that it's like it just can't be. It's back when they wrote myths and legends and stories to tell you how to do something,
Right.
how to act about something. So like
Like
you can
Aesop's
actually,
fables.
right?
Yeah.
You can see in the Bible that it's meant to be a story about something a little exaggerated.
Yeah.
And I just don't like how a lot of places take that so literally.
Right.
But-
Yeah, I understand that completely, and I'm not big into the organized side of religious dogma and all of that either. I think that I agree with you on being more fluid and flowing, and yes, I believe in a higher power too, some type of
If
something
was there that did all of it.
that's
but
done
I
all
don't-
this,
I
and
don't
even
know
in
what it
even
is.
in theoretical physics now, they're getting to the point where it's intelligent design now is what they've discovered. There's like
Our
they
priest
can't.
proved it. He was a NASA scientist. He
There
built
you go.
the seats that went on the Apollo program
Okay.
missions, and he showed us the math and everything behind the universe.
Yeah.
And how that the odds of the universe happening exactly the way it is and things working how they work is so near impossible that it shouldn't happen.
Exactly.
And that something had to have pushed it in that direction.
Exactly.
Like our head priest was on there going, I'm not certain what it was, and I'm a Catholic priest,
Right.
but something was there. I'm not saying you have to believe in God,
Yeah.
but there is something out there that's guiding it.
Yeah,
at
and
least.
intelligent design to the universe. It's not a far-fetched idea to grasp, and if there is an intelligent design to the universe, whether it's a cognitive intelligence or whether it's a passive intelligence. It doesn't really matter. The math is showing that the possibility of actual intelligent life existing in the universe is so minuscule as to be virtually impossible for us to be sitting here having this conversation right now. So the miracles are not few and far between. That's interesting because that goes along with kind of the practicality that I'm getting to understand about you. Is that it seems like you have a more practical approach to life, like what actually makes sense and I can apply and get ahead, and what doesn't. So I'm curious. Was not being dogmatic about the religious side of things, and being in a more progressive Catholic school, which is really cool actually. Do you think that that's given you more of a welcoming, kind of open personality towards other people?
For sure.
Yeah,
I think so. With the authority figures in my life growing up being so very open to other things and new things, had to have rubbed off on me that as people come is how they come.
Yeah.
There's no reason to hate on them for it unless they're just a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're a good person, I'm fine with it.
Oh, well, let's talk about your mom and dad real quick, just in general terms. How was your relationship with them growing up?
It was great. It was great. It really was. One of the few, like relationship with parents you hear about that's like actually really good.
Yeah.
Super supportive, always there. I mean, Dad went on big business trips sometimes, which was necessary for like promotions and stuff. So he was gone. So I got a little closer with my mom than my dad because he had to go out to Afghanistan and Jordan,
right. Yes,
and overseas all the time.
And but when he would come back, you guys would have those special moments. You'd be able to hang out, catch up.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because he played. He's the one who introduced me to video games.
So
we've always had that.
You guys would play while he was overseas together sometimes?
Every once in a while.
I did that with my son with Pirate 101. I would be, when I'd be in LA, we'd be on Pirate 101. I was just basically following him around the whole time,
He showed me Battlefield.
Oh, okay.
He showed me Battlefield 1942, the original one.
Oh, that's a pretty rad. The graphics on that are pretty.
I love it.
Rad.
I love it. It's so much fun. But yeah, he introduced me to Battlefield, Need for Speed. We had cars that we built together on Need for Speed. We played games. I don't know, up until like he really started traveling. Then he comes and like if I'm home and I've got my PlayStation or computer, he'll come and sit. He doesn't know what's going on in the new games because he hasn't played them, but he's always like there watching and like talking to me about the game. Which I mean, like he stays involved as much as he can.
That's awesome.
So I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, it just makes me reflect on myself because I used to try and do because I can't get the controller things all down. Looking up and moving at the same time. I was like, forget I'm just gonna ruin my son's time if I try to play doubles with him on something or whatever. He'll just get irked. But yeah, I should have probably gone up and just sat in his room with him and hung out with him more often while he was playing games and stuff like that. He's only 15. I still have time to do that.
That's all my dad does. He comes in there and he asks questions. Like, because I'm on League.
Yeah.
And that's a confusing game, even if you've played it. Because sometimes you just don't see what's going on.
Yeah.
And he'll just come ask, like, oh, what's that character? And I'll explain the character. And then he'll ask that character. And then he's got a pretty solid mind for video games, so we'll figure out some interactions that go between those two. And we just have a small little conversation about the game, and we watch, and then I'll die, and he'll be like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Totally. Get him next time, come on.
Well, that's really good though. So you guys have a bonding over that, which is very important, and he seems to have been a positive role model, masculine role model for you, as well as your mom. It's a great benefit to that. And do you think that that having, I know this is an obvious question, but do you think that having a solid relationship between your parents and a relationship that you had with them and the support, do you think that significantly that has significantly improved your ability to deal with life and stresses and
100%. because I know always that if I have a problem that I'm not certain of what to do with, it's new to me or it's just a little too much. Like if everyone's out of town, all my friends, Maddie's gone, 'cause she's always got my back. I know that. That if I have something I just can't deal with, I've got both of them I can call at any time, and I've got their work numbers, their cell phone numbers, and there's always a way for me to get in contact with them, and they've always answered. Like they've missed a call once, but they were in a meeting or something like that. But as soon as that meeting's over, they've called me back.
Right.
So like there's always a time when I can get in contact with them for that support, ask a question, just tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
Always got that support there, which is unreasonably helpful. Not necessarily because I use it all the time. Like unfortunately, I don't really talk to them that much, but that's because I'm just off doing my own thing. I'm pretty independent, but I know I can.
Yeah.
If I need to.
Yeah, so you don't have. It's interesting because there's in having had some of the conversations, the loss of a parent, whether to an early death or whether they split up and go and all of that. It definitely, I can see that not having a completed family unit is creates some difficulties for people. So it's really great that they've been able to stick together like that. Now today, so I love the fact that you have these plans and everything. What I am curious about, what advice would you be able to give? What could you share with other kids your age and a little bit younger to help them make the same kind of quality choices that you've made in the face of all kinds of options in life? You've chosen to whittle it down and make specific choices towards a specific goal. What advice could you give to someone else to help them kind of get all their ducks in a row?
Not everyone's going to be happy with what you choose, but as long as you're happy with it, that's what you need to go with, because you're always going to have someone who doesn't like you. And there's always going to be someone who does not like what you just did or the decision you've made. Someone's always going to criticize it. At least one person. They're always there. But if what you did, you think is right, and you think that's what's going to help you the most, then that's the most important thing. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you've only got a couple people that are actually going to stand by your side 100%. And everyone else might just kind of be out to get you in certain things, like trying to get a promotion over you, or trying to get this certain pair of shoes that's on sale or something like that. There's always going to be someone there to get your way. Just don't worry about them.
Right.
They're not important. They're not going to help you.
That's true, man. That's great. I don't want, if I ask another question, I'm going to ruin this moment, because that is some advice that doesn't need to be added to. I appreciate it so much,
no
brother.
problem.
That's awesome. What a great ending. And that is what Love America Tour is all about. Wow. Fantastic. That was awesome. I love it, man.